I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rekah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders which rule great millstone wow, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom Ba Abba Ba. So this is Psalm 64, and we're going to start at verse 1, a psalm of King David to the chief musician, a psalm of King David. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. The wicked are the so-called Caucasians, and they have secret societies that have secret meetings on how they're going to destroy the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world as slavery. In fact, in the YouTube channel, all right, I shared one. It says, here in the history, all right, it's this one here. The Organization of European Economic Cooperation is formed, which this group of people, which are majority Edomites that are in the power seat, all right? Now, they might throw one person that it may be Ammon, the Japanese, or Moabite, the Chinese, or an East Indian, right? A Persian, right? But for the most part, the world is controlled by the wicked, the so-called Caucasians. And they build these secret societies against the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world as slavery. All right? And I just, wanted to edify with that. The secrets, counsel of the wicked. From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, these reprobates that are going to betray us, it tells you in 2nd Ezra 16. 2nd Ezra 16, let me get it. 2nd Ezra 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, which is going to be done by the reprobate, 2/3 that don't believe. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying destroying those that fear the Lord. All right, it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. All right, which we're going to go through Jacob's trouble. It says in Psalm 64:3, who whet their tongue like a sword, which they accuse the Israelites, and they write laws to go against us, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows. They got missiles, nuclear missiles, the great sword that's been given to them, Revelation 6. Even bitter words, which they use their laws to pass draconian laws, so that they could violate the Israelite, which eventually at the end, they want to nuke America, which the Israelite is here, all right, in slavery. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. The perfect are the elect of Israel that know the whole setup according to the scripture, which is prophecy, the word of Yahweh, which is the holy scriptures, their prophecy of everyone's position in this movie. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, meaning they think the Lord forgot about us. They say there is no God because they're fools. Just like with their shooting off the rocket, the New Shepard, filled with women, shaped like a penis, right? That's an act of them saying there is no God. They encourage themselves in an evil matter, which that was really a seance, satanic ritual. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Because they're not judged right away. Just like Jeff Bezos, he fell at the crash site or the landing site of that supposedly lands, I'll just get the. So you saw that Jeff Bezos, with all his money, he lost his footing at that landing site of the New Shepard, filled with women in the head of the penis-shaped rocket, which goes back to their false idols. It says in Psalm 64, verse 5, it says they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Because they say there is no God. They don't realize that the Lord is the one that made that man trip and fall. And really, it's an omen of what's going to happen to Edom in his pride. When he brings out that implantable microchip, his destruction is right after that. It says they search out iniquities, which they're watching our phones. They're looking at us through our TVs and through our technology that we have in our homes. And they're looking for something that they could condemn us on, because it says in Jeremiah 50, verse 5, verse 6, it says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill, which they've broken up our families, broken up our nation, and scattered us throughout the world and put different names on us in slavery. They have forgotten their resting place. Meaning the Israelite forgot that they were the Israelite. Because you even got counterfeits over there now with small hats and big noses, which are bastards. It says in verse 7, all that found them have devoured them. So they devoured the Israelite. And their adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. Which that's why they have the right to do what they do to these two. They're reprobate, but they're going to fuck up when they touch the elect. All right, once again, it says they shoot at the perfect. The perfect is talking about the elect. Yep, right there in verse 4. Psalm 64 and 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares, which that's what they do in their private, their secret council. All right, their private meetings. They're plotting on the elect of Israel. It says in verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought and every one of them, and the heart is deep. So they have a great imagination of wickedness, but power shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So that missile, that is set up against us, the nuclear missile, is going to fall upon them. All right, because the Lord's going to remove his elect. He's going to gather his elect and get them out of here, and he's going to turn their kingdom into a lake of fire, just like that video of Bezos. That was supposed to glorify him because he paid for it supposedly, and what he do? He fell on live TV, making it an embarrassment for him. So that's the same thing that's going to happen with them coming against the elect. They're going to come in great pride, but they're going to fall in shame. All right? to a point where they're not even going to be remembered no more. They're going to be made extinct, these Edomites. Because it tells you in Job 20 and 23, it says, when he is about to fill his belly, pretty much celebrate that they brought forth the new world order, power shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, which it says he'll be in his bunkers. That's Revelation 6. And the bow of steel shall strike him through. All right. So the Lord's going to punish the wicked and them that do wickedly. Psalm 64 and 7. But power shall shoot at them with an arrow, which he gave them that nuclear missile. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, which are all these nations that are here making money. They're going to flee into their own countries because they know that this place is ending.
Poorest country in the world, starting now. America is going to be the poorest country in the world, starting now. America is going to be the poorest country in the world, starting now. You're going to see the biggest crashes happening right now. So that's good for me because the price of gold and silver go up.
That's interesting because most people in India until the last decade have been migrating to the US, thinking that that is where is the land of opportunity to pursue the great American dream. But over the last 2 years, we've seen an increasing number of people coming back in droves back to India because that's where they're seeing the opportunity. So that is a very interesting shift that I never thought would happen so quickly in my lifetime.
America is going to be the poorest country in the world.
So you see, they're fleeing from these Edomites, right? From that East Indian, right? He said they're going back to India because even that Japanese, Robert Kawasaki, he said that America is now becoming the poorest country. So all these heathen that were here making money with them, they're going to run to their own people. They're going to leave this place. It says in Psalm 64, verse 9, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of power, which is our power, Yahweh, and his son Yahushua, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. Because we're putting up these videos and these prophecies are coming to pass. So they're going to eventually have to face it like the Egyptians. This is the mighty hand of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua. It says in verse 10, Psalm 64 and 10, the righteous shall be glad in Yahweh and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. And we're glorying in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua, which is to tell you what's about to happen. And I rejoice knowing that this place has an end, and it's very soon to come after they make that implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling, which is their last move, trying to keep their power. But after they make that implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling, and they begin to persecute and even kill, murder, actually, the elect, because they're going to sacrifice us unjustly. They're going to come down with their draconian law and persecute us because we teach the truth. So they're going to murder some of us. And the Lord Yahweh is going to send his son Yahushua back with the host of heaven. And he's going to fight the wicked, the so-called Caucasian, and his military. And our power, which is a consuming fire, is going to devour their flesh. Shalom to the elect wa abba babal.